Now, in order to download the database, you will need a compatible transfer drive.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Deltabase, the show where I chat with other creators about the Transformers franchise and their time in the creator space. Today's guest needs no introductions because if you've been on the internet for the past 12 years in this community, then you know him already. From instant classics like the anime that made Starscream a tragic Autobot and Decepticon, and even lesser known videos like Daniel gets an Optimus Prime tattoo. Welcome to the show, Comodin Cam.
Hello. I'm so glad someone brought that video up. It's been years. It's been the first time someone's done that.
I always try and do as much research as I can on the guests when they come on here. Well, Cam, you know, we've talked about, already just in the intro, some of your most well-known videos and some of your least known videos. But obviously, at the moment, I think a lot of people will probably know you mostly from your series, Every Design Ranked, where you take a look at various renditions of Transformers characters. And in fact, just today, as we're recording this, you released an updated video on Prowl. And a question I wanted to ask you about that series is what has it been like creating that show over the past few years, and how has it evolved?
Well, it's definitely evolved because I first did it because I guess I could say I was bored, but it was also because I guess I just wanted to talk about something that was like collective. Like I wanted to talk about Optimus Prime all in one go, you know, and I just thought, what better way to do that than a tier list? I just saw so many videos doing tier lists already, and I thought I'd throw my hat in the ring and just, you know, I actually didn't expect it to pick up at all. And the more basic I was doing it, the kind of more I was like, I could do something more with this. Like, you know, I'm not showing any pictures, I'm just showing one image. And over time, the editing with that just evolved. Like, I remember doing all of the main guys, just basically talking about them for about 2 minutes, moving on to the next one. And I was like thinking, now there's more I could do with this, like editing style and everything. I feel like I've evolved over time as a creator, because not to say that, you know, doing basic normal content is like it's not a bad thing. I just wanted to stand out from the crowd. So right. Even though those videos were doing super well, and you know, I'm still proud of those videos, but my opinions were like, okay, I could have recorded that better. Okay, I could have edited that better. I could have explained myself better. It was all about just being better, in a way of like, okay, I did this on the fly. You could tell it was improvised. You could tell I didn't take any pauses. And I guess I just wanted to kind of take a step back and go, how do I actually express how I'm feeling about a design? I just wanted to add more to it. And then it really did evolve over time. It wasn't just about better pictures or funny jokes. It was actually about incorporating clips and kind of having like the character talk back to me a little bit. Like I recently did a video about Sentinel Prime with Sixo, and as we're ranking his designs, I insert clips of Sentinel Prime throughout all continuities he's been in, and it feels like the character's actually talking back to us as we're giving a designer a good opinion or a bad opinion. And that to me over time is what I found so fun. I started doing it, I believe, with I want to say Soundwave or maybe Shockwave. It was one of those two where I was like, right, I'm actually going to put more into this. I'm going to do an intro. I'm going to add more jokes. I'm going to pace it right, and also try and include every single one. Let me tell you, people are quick to point out when you miss a design. And
oh yeah,
don't get me wrong, yeah, there's definitely a few you can miss. But there's also designs that are exactly the same, and I don't feel like I need to repeat myself. That's a lot of thing. That's the one thing I don't like to do, is repeat myself. And that's another issue I had with the beginning of the series. I just realized I was repeating the same thing, like, oh, that's cool, oh, that's awesome. And I was just like, I actually need to be a bit more fluent. I need to be a bit more expressive and explore the vocabulary. Then it's cool. Move on.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Well, it's a true skill to be able to not just take your opinions and to put them out, but it's another skill to take opinions that may be similar, like, hey, I like both of these designs, but then to be able to say those in different enough ways that people actually want to listen to it.
Well, at school I did drama, and that really is what brought me out to be more confident and improvise. And I always used to think, well, I do think I have got a good improvising quality. That's why I've been more comfortable lately doing live streams, because I just feel more relaxed, more comfortable, and I'm just confident with what I say. over time I kind of realized improvising is not always the best way to go. Like, even though I could improvise the hell out of saying something random for about 20 minutes without any interruption, there's always that part of me that looks back at it and go, I could have said more about this area. I could have explored this, but I didn't. I was just too focused on saying that one thing. And improvising is a great skill. You know, if people can improvise on the fly, you know, I learned that from drama, though. That's how I learned that. If I didn't have drama at school, I probably would have been a shy boy, and I would have stayed, you know, on my computer and watching all of your guys' videos. I wouldn't be making videos. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't be making. I would have just been a comment, and that was it. But it was just because I did so much of drama, and I really embraced it. And I was quiet. My mum thought I was a mute. When I was born, I didn't speak until I was about 2 years old.
Oh, wow.
She was quite worried. She thought, "Is this guy going to stay silent?" And ever since then, I've not been able to shut up. So it's kind of like,
So at the age of 2, you started talking about Transformers. That's what.
Oh yeah, I started speaking about. Hang on, is this really Ultra Magnus? Is this just a white Optimus Prime? What is this, Mum? As a kid, I was always quiet. I just, you know, I didn't like growing up. I think when I got to like 10 or 7 or 8, around that period, I just grew a bit more confident, as you're supposed to as a kid. You know what I mean?
Right.
You get a few influences come by, and, you know, you've got good teachers at school who kind of lead you in that right direction. And yeah, I felt a bit more, I guess, creative is the way. And I've been doing YouTube. It's only just dawned on me. I've been making content since 2011. I only got noticed properly when I started talking about Smokescreen's character leak in Transformers Prime.
Such a long time ago, feels like.
Oh, mate, honestly, it dawns on me how I did that little news update, like new screenshots of Smokescreen in Transformers Prime Season 2. And everyone was watching it. I was like, okay, these were just like still images and a text picture. And just things evolved over time. So getting to the point of the ranking videos, even though I started that series probably, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they're not the same as what I'm making them like now. And it kind of dawns on me, you could have such little time, and things can change in that little time so much.
Yeah. Well, do you know, talking about the series and how much it's changed and how it's, you know, kind of a maybe a staple to your channel, have you ever felt trapped by that series, you know, because of, you know, the YouTube algorithm, or have you ever had that feeling of, man, I have to make this content?
No, actually. And I guess only recently has made me more confident in saying that. I mean, there's no denying that a lot of people are watching my videos for my opinions, but I don't think it's just my opinions anymore. I don't think people are just watching it just to know, oh, what did Cam put Prowl in, like the top tier? Like, did he put Jew on Prowl? I really don't think they care about what my opinion is. They obviously do to an extent, but I actually think it's more about the editing, because they want to see these designs like properly presented and showcased, I guess. You know, I think that's why people really like Chris McFeely's The Basics, because he's giving you the basics, of course, but he's also presenting a character in such a short format where, you know, you'd have to go on YouTube and research, and like, oh, if you want that scene from animated, you'll have to dig for it or whatever. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Chris condenses it and puts like a character's short story in about a 10-minute video, and like the designs, you know, he only covers the basics. I'm covering every design, and I feel like people find that appealing. You know, people find the basics appealing because it's given the character's story in a good condensed sort of format. I'll briefly tell you how I feel about the character's personality, but it's actually more about the designs. And because people want to know as well, because not a lot of people know about every design, and here's me digging for it and putting it out there in a video. And I'm obviously giving my opinion, which, you know, people like listening to, which is, it's great, it's fantastic. But the amount of times the comments is flooded with other people's opinions, and that's fantastic. You know, it's more about like, oh, he mentioned this, oh, good. Oh, he didn't like this, oh, it's all right, I like it. And then they'll give a reason why, and they don't have no ill will towards me not liking it. And most of the times, like I remember at the beginning, people really didn't like the fact that I was giving the Angry Birds a lot of like flack, a lot of crap. And at the time, it generally came from a place where I just don't like those designs. As time went on, and I started reading the criticisms of, Cam, but this is good because of this. Like, this is what they were trying to do. I actually was like, became more appreciative over time. So I guess the series has evolved, not just in general, but as my opinions have changed, because yeah, you're right. Maybe I am giving these Angry Birds designs too much crap. You know, maybe they're not actually that bad at all. And I look at it from a different point of view, and I go, yeah, this is appealing. I get it. And it's actually been kind of a learning curve in a way, because it's made me appreciate other designs that I would, write off. And I'd be more like respectful of that and go, okay, it's still not my vibe, but I get where they're coming from.
It kind of sounds like you and Chris McFeely need to do a basics video on the Angry Birds.
I'm surprised he's not done it, to be honest. I'll have to send him a message and go, Angry Birds basics when?
Well, now that we've kind of dipped our toe into the very deep ocean that is YouTube, its algorithm, the comment section, how you can build a community, I wanted to talk about a bigger topic that's come up recently, and that is Paramount issuing copyright claims on community content. Now, obviously, I need to say that Paramount has the right to protect their content. It's their content. But it has been frustrating for a lot of fans who have been creating transformative media, no pun intended, to celebrate the franchise. And we've seen a lot of this with the digital release of Transformers 1. But even before that, you had a huge series that you had created and put together called Transformers Kill Count, was hit pretty hard by these claims. Could you tell me a little bit of a background about what happened in that situation?
I had been making this series for over a year. I started working on it in August of 23, and I knew what it was supposed to be from the get-go. It was supposed to be a clear, direct homage and tribute, and it was supposed to be obvious that it was an inspiration out of Dead Meat's Kill Counts, because I am a huge fan of Dead Meat, and I would have not have made the series at all if I didn't see James's video. He did a live stream where he basically gave his blessing for other kill counts like his, and I was like, okay, this dude's awesome. Like, I know there's a reason why I like this dude so much, and he's like, I'm never going to cover the Marvel movies. I'm not going to talk about these films. I talk about horror. So if anyone wants to make a kill count on the Marvel movies, go ahead. So I got really encouraged. And I actually thought about doing it for a long time, but circumstances changed where I thought, right, I'm just going to do it now. So I worked on it for a long time, and I knew exactly what it was going to be. It was going to be basically similar to his format, but obviously I wanted to add my own spin to it. And the format is basically, black bars. You just got the full screen of the movie. You interject. You have your camera on. You show the scene obviously, but then you also show a lot of yourself making jokes to the camera. And so I got my whole crew behind me. I got my best mate Daniel, and I got my good friend Sam to record the footage. So we record hundreds of hours of kill counts 1 to 5, all intended to be scheduled. I didn't want this to be, because one thing I've always felt like I've lacked as a content creator is consistency, because I've always wanted to be like, right, if I'm promising you this, I'm definitely going to deliver on it. I hate the idea of promising something and then not delivering on it. And I've always said that, like, oh, I'm going to get this video out next week, and for whatever reason, it doesn't happen. So I was like, right, I'm doing all of this, I'm planning it ahead, and it's going to be timed with the Transformers 1 movie, so it's going to release up to leading Transformers 1, so every Friday. That was the plan. But then copyright. And that has been the one thing I've had to deal with a lot. And, it's not just me, of course. I am just one of many people, especially when it comes to Transformers content. You hear about horror stories of channels getting striked and claimed, and you never think it's going to be you because, it's circumstances. So I had planned everything in advance to the point where I got every kill count copyright approved. But the thing is in a lot of cases, I think it was only Revenge of the Fallen, but this is the problem. I forgot which one it was that actually gave me the thumbs up where they can't claim it again. So I'm doing with 5 videos, right? I submit the appeal, blah, 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 because they never accept the 30-day appeal. It's always the 7-day. You have to wait for 7 days. In my case, they never accept. It always has to go to 7-day appeal, which is why I always escalate it. And they give you the threat of, well, if you escalate it to appeal, there's a chance that you could get striked on your channel. And 9 times out of 10, that doesn't actually happen. and it never does until it gets to the 5-day. It's like the third appeal, basically. So if you do the 30 days, that gets rejected. Whatever. You don't get a strike. If you do the 7-day, you could get a strike, but it's very unlikely. And then if that gets rejected, whoever's claiming you, they have 5 days to respond, and they don't. So it says claim is released. You are allowed to monetize, and it's allowed to be public. And because they're a big corporation, you just assume that they've got so many claims already to deal with. They just didn't get to you in time. Anyway, I remember being on chat with YouTube Help, and I remember saying, okay, is that all good then? Is that clear? And they're basically saying like, oh, there's a chance they could still strike you. What do you mean that they can still strike me? You know, they shouldn't be able to strike me anymore. And they're like, well, they technically can because they didn't actually respond. Which I'm thinking in the back of my head going, that's ridiculous. Like, if they failed to respond in time, not only for 30 days, but 7 days, and then 5 days, it just clearly shows a sign. They don't even care. Well, actually, it was quite ironic, to be fair. Transfers 2007 was up. Fantastic. Reached over 100k views. I was really, really, really appreciative of all the people who were embracing it and enjoying it. And I was like, right, if that's what it is, I'm going to upload the second one. So I uploaded Revenge of the Fallen the next week. And yeah, it wasn't a smash success, but regardless, people were still craving it. People still wanted to see more. So I decided to backtrack, and I was like, right, you know what? I'm going to make this a month per kill count per month, because Transfers 1 had just come out. I timed it wrong. It was all messed up due to the copyright claims taking ages to get approved in the first place. It was kind of like, right, you know what? I'm going to make this a month thing. Let Transfers 1 have its time to shine. Then we talk about the old films. Out of the blue, randomly, Transfers for Last Night got striked, even though that got approved 2 weeks ago. You know, it's kind of like, oh, they just strike me 2 weeks later? What's going off here?
And they chose the worst one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, like, Paramount are still ashamed of Transfers of Last Night. I mean, my video was actually I made that film look good. Because I hate that film so much. I hate that film. I find nothing enjoyable about The Last Night, except maybe the fight between Bea and Optimus, but even that is an eyesore to look at. But regardless, Anthony Hopkins got me through that bloody movie. I tell you that right now. I was just so burnt out from the third film, though. That's actually not due to the film being, like, you know, terrible. I mean, it was a pain writing the script, but Dark of the Moon was like, it's currently out on my Patreon at the minute, because that kill count is literally, I'm not even kidding you, it's, in my opinion, one of my best videos I've ever made, period.
You know, obviously, I said at the beginning of this question, Paramount obviously owns the content, and you know, we need to respect that they own it. But in the case that we're using it in a transformative way in fair use, do you hold any, you know, ill will towards Paramount and this whole process?
No, not really, because you can make the joke about, well, the movie's bombing at the box office, so they're going to claim as much money as they can. You could make that joke. Yeah. You know, I've interacted with people behind the film, interacting with the voice actors and the production designers and the animation staff and all over Twitter, and I've got no ill will against them at all. They are just making a movie, and they are just awesome. But when it comes to a corporation, there is that part of you where it's like, oh, you know, just get lost, Paramount. Like, can you not see this is transformative? It's more about the stubbornness, because it's not directly to people making the film. They've got nothing to do with any of this. It's just for people in that corporation who are basically, any footage they see that, you know, they're claiming. So this isn't like this is not a personal attack. I've never taken any of this personal. Like, you just mentioned your trailer getting claimed. My trailer got claimed, which I made ages ago, and that was close to 200k. Actually, no, it pretty much was at 200k. All it needed was just like 50 extra views, and I basically just removed that video. I'm like, I don't care. I mean, it's a trailer breakdown. Yeah, like, what are we gonna get? 5p? 5 cents? It's like, what are you gonna get? I've already got the money out of it. Like, why do you want to claim that? And that's the thing, it's automated. Half the time it's manual, but it's mostly automated. So it's just kind of like, oh, because they've put the film in the system now. That's in the YouTube copyright system. So it's like, oh wow, film, okay, claim. You know, I'm working on a D16 video as well. And because of what I saw happen to you, and I've watched glimpses of your video, and I'm like, this is transformative in my opinion. This is clearly transformative. You're actually being very kind by using
Hmm.
trailer footage. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's baffling to me where it's like, this is promoting the movie more than anything. This is helping the movie, in my opinion, because that video did so well, such great views, and well deserved,
Thank
by the
you.
way. You know, it's
Thank you.
well scripted, it's well talked about, and this is just, it's called encouragement. It's called encouraging people to watch a film that they didn't consider to begin with, because let's face it, we see the box office, no one watched this movie. Only the
Right.
hardcore fans and a few other people that we encouraged to go watch towards the end of the cycle of the cinema, you know, and it's now out in digital. So it's kind of like, right, these videos are more important than ever now because that will encourage people to actually buy the digital. That's a win for Paramount, you know. DVD and digital sales add up to that box office. You know, Paramount, it's called promotion. You know, it's called promotion. And, you know, this is something we're just doing because we love the franchise. This isn't like our obligation to Paramount. We could give less of a crap about Paramount, to be fair, because they're just a
Right.
corporation. We care about Hasbro. We care about the people who make the film. We don't care about Paramount as a corporation. They're just the people who are distributing the movie, you know, who are putting funds into the movie.
Hmm.
I care about Josh Cooley and, you know, everyone like that who are actually making the film. I don't care about some CEO of Paramount. You know, I never feel like when they claim my videos, I'm trying to respond back to them. I've even sending Paramount an email through Gmail and trying to say to them, hey, don't claim me. You know, this doesn't give you a good look. You know,
Yeah.
copyright claiming not just me, but several of my colleagues and doing it in a way that really damages your reputation in a way because it does. I mean, the amount of comments I got, so much support, and I'm so grateful for it. Like, when I had to tell people that the kill count was cancelled, I had to delete those videos. The amount of people that was like hating on Paramount saying, this is just wrong, this is an injustice. It did my spark good, you know. No pun intended. It really did because it kind of makes me feel less alone. Like, because I was like kind of screaming, I guess, and no one was hearing me. But those guys hear me. My audience hear me. My subscribers hear me, and it's really good to know that people have you back. For example, your D16 video and my kill counts. That's where the heart's at. That's what's supposed to
Right.
have longevity. That's what's supposed to
Hmm.
be around for after we're gone. Hopefully, if
Right.
YouTube, fingers crossed, is still around. Like you mentioned, my anime star screen video. That
Right.
video to me, I want that to last for as long as time. You know, that
Hmm.
is one of my most proudest videos I've ever made. I spent so much effort with the script and getting it right, and there's still so much I wish I could do, make it better. It's there. It got over almost 2 million views, and it's just fantastic that people cared about that as much as I did.
Well, Cam, what would you say to people who are thinking about creating, Transformers content, whether it be opinions or their own list or whatever? What would you say to somebody who's looking at doing that, but they've now been pushed back by hearing about these copyright claims and going, well, maybe it's not worth it. Maybe my opinion really doesn't matter. What would you say to someone like that?
I would say you've got to ask yourself two questions: are you in it for the money or the passion? Because if you're in it for the money, I think you're doing it wrong. You shouldn't
Right.
be making YouTube content if you're just thinking about the money. Because I when I started making YouTube content, I was not thinking about money. It was an after fact, actually. It was kind of like, oh, I can make money, huh? Even before Transformers, I was making stupid videos. I was doing acting videos with my best buddy Daniel. We were making
Hmm.
stupid skit videos. You know, this wasn't about being famous. It was just about us having a laugh by ourselves, and maybe someone will watch. So it's
Hmm.
kind of like stick to your gut, stick to your dreams. You know, like Crime once said, the world is built on dreams, quite literally. And if you
Hmm.
can find a platform where that dream could be possible, I'd say go for it, but don't do it for the money. I would also say that as well for someone who wants to start out making videos. Write stuff down. If you don't want to write a script, that's fine. I get it. Scripts are boring. Trust me. I know. I wrote like 10, 20 pages of the kill counts. I did that to be articulate, but that's a big project. Just write notes on your phone. As long as you've
Right.
got talking points, you're fine. Just write bullet points. Bullet points of, well, I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say that. Doesn't even have to be in a particular order. As long as you've wrote it down, you can remind yourself as you're doing it. What I would say to people who want to start off as YouTube, it is very competitive, and I think you need to brace that in mind. But that doesn't matter if you've got passion. Like I've seen people talk about, like your videos, for example. You know, some could look at that and go, okay, move on, next video. No, I kept paying attention to you in my recommendation feeds because you kept doing it. You kept being consistent, and that's what people like, and that's what I've been trying to do for the last few years is be consistent. And if your passion's there, it's going to be consistent, and people are going to watch it, and people are going to go, okay, I am guaranteed another video this month, you know, and that's engagement for you.
Well, Cam, it's getting now towards the end of the episode, and we have to do a lightning round. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions in quick succession, and I'd like you to answer them as fast as possible. Try not to think too much about the details, but whatever just comes to your heart.
Sounds good.
So our first question is, I want you to pick one of these lines from a Transformers song to define your life. The options are, I'm in my prime, Optimus, I'm going big, Megatron, or I'm a Sting, Bumblebee.
I would say I'm a Sting, Bumblebee.
There we go. That is from the hit song If I Fall from Transformers 1.
I used to put that on the jukebox the other day.
I'm actually enjoying the song quite a bit. This next question is also a 3-choice one, and it's, which Sentinel Prime would you most prefer having as your boss at a day job? Transformers 1 Sentinel Prime, Dark of the Moon Sentinel Prime, or Transformers Animated Sentinel Prime?
Oh, I'd have to say Dark of the Moon. Because I wouldn't know if he was I wouldn't know if he's been an asshole or not.
You wouldn't know if he was sleeping at his desk or not. He probably wouldn't hear
Yeah, he would actually get stuff done.
You would. And then the last question here is, in one word, describe what your YouTube career has meant to you in your life.
Purpose. I felt like with YouTube, I actually get to speak. Because as I've told you, I never felt like I had a voice. I was quiet child. And with YouTube, I can actually say what I want to say. And I feel like no one's pressuring me or stopping me.
Really, really defining your own path and what you can be.
Quite literally, Bumblebee, to be fair.
Well, Cam, thank you so much for joining the show. If you have any, big projects, or you want to talk about where people can watch the current Kill Count series, please let them know right now. This is kind of your moment to promote anything you've got going on.
Well, at the minute, I've got a bunch of Transformers 1 videos coming out. I still plan on doing ranking videos, but like I said, I don't feel pressured to do them anymore. I'm taking my time with them. I talk about a character when I want to talk about a character. That's relaxing. When it comes to the kill counts, I am planning on bringing the kill counts back to public form on YouTube. They just have to be majorly reworked to avoid Paramount, striking me again. But if you want to see the kill counts in their original intended vision, as they were meant to be presented, I've only done 1 to 5 that are completed. They are currently available on my Patreon. 1, 2, and 3 are anyway. 4 and 5 will come out later on throughout the year. I want to space it out a bit. I have to rework them for Patreon as well now because it's a smaller format. There's only so much I can actually have on Patreon, so I don't want to have so many gigabytes and stuff. So, yeah. So if you want to watch Transformers 1, 2, and 3, Kill Count, Original Intended Vision, that's on my Patreon right now, if you want to check it out.
Well, Cam, thank you so much for hopping on the show, and thank you everybody for watching another episode of Deltabase. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Until next time.